This is the Build Zone Podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the podcast, Ms. Irina Makucha, Project Executive for Veterans Development Corporation. And we're very lucky that this is the first guest pretty much that's been on the site. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see the amazing background she's got. Welcome to the podcast.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be on the podcast.
We're lucky to have you. I know that you're doing a great job. So for those that don't know who you are and what you're doing for Vets Development Corp, why don't you introduce yourself to us, tell us exactly what you do.
So I'm a project executive. That's my official title, and I'm running multiple projects actually at VA Bedford campus. And you're looking at one of them. That's a women's clinic, one of the biggest projects they have right now, currently ongoing on campus, and one of the most important projects for VA Bedford altogether. So we have a lot of eyes on us to finish it and make the project successful.
It was funny when we really started talking to you about having you on the podcast, and the listeners may be shocked as well, but the VA campus here in Massachusetts, the women's clinic doesn't have their own kind of building, their own section, right? There's just one big lumped in veterans.
That's correct, and we talk about that quite often here when people walk the site and they look at the progress that we are making right now. So they tell us that doctors right now don't have any designated area of where they where like specifically for women veterans, and this building is going to be assigned only for women's. Well, that's why it's called the women's clinic.
Yeah.
In addition to that, this is the first building of its kind for VA veterans across the entire country. So this is the first of the branch of this type of development.
And it's even better that I know Veterans Development Corp is veteran owned, so that's even better that a veteran owned
Yes.
company is working on a VA campus. What I mean,
Yes.
you can tell how proud you are with it. What are you the most proud of, I guess, with this project?
On this project, we have a lot of challenges on the project, and I'm proud that we have a fantastic team that makes everything happen. Like we had to convert this project a little bit into a design build, so we help with the resolving issues with the design and current conditions. This is an older building, so there were some sections of the building that were not accounted for the design, and some clashes. So we put everyone's head together and we try to resolve the issues for the project to be successful. And it really takes people's effort. So the most proud of that I am on this project is actually teamwork and people, the team that we have. Yeah.
How long have you been working for Veterans Development Corp?
I came to veterans last year in November, so it hasn't been too long. It's almost a year.
Yeah. Amazing how time flies, right? That 1 year goes by so fast.
Yes.
Where did you go to school? Where did you learn how to do what you're doing now?
Well, I started with STCC, that's Springfield Technical Community College,
Oh,
and
wow,
I
all right.
actually I wanted to be an architect
Ah.
from the get-go. But when I was in architecture, it was a transfer program to UMass Amherst, and that's where I received my bachelor's degree. But I really felt connected to construction field because I have construction running in my blood. I grew up building with my dad.
Yeah, there you go. I knew
So
he
I
did.
was
I knew
so I was the boy in the family who was helping dad. I have two sisters, so I really liked building. I
Yeah.
love watching guys build right now. I get what they go through. I have a lot of um, passion for construction.
Yeah.
So, I grew up doing it.
So, your dad was in construction. Was he a carpenter? Was he what was he?
No, my dad is IT engineer,
Oh,
but
all right.
he built all the time, as long as I remember, me growing up, with my family. He uh, I mean, we built sauna house together,
Right.
a big
That's
one.
amazing.
We built furniture. We renovated our house, which was over 100 years old. It was fantastic. We did phenomenal projects together, and I mean, he um, at some point, he started asking for my advice how we should do this, and I
Wow.
felt really like belonging, and that helped me to feel like I belong in construction field because
Do-
I literally grew up in it.
yeah. Do you? I'm sure you do. But do you send him pictures of the stuff you're working on? Right. Yeah.
He is wicked proud of me.
I mean, of course, you must be like, look at this. And dad must be like,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
And then
Lots of videos, lots of pictures are going on.
yeah, because your passion probably came from him as well. So he's probably a passionate person too. What made you not
Yeah.
want to be an architect anymore?
Because, well, architecture. Well, when I was an architect student, I got internship at the local hospital,
Mhm.
Mercy Hospital in Springfield. We started designing spaces, and then I was promoted into management position where I had to take my design and build it in the field and see what the guys are struggling with. And that was a big wake-up call. And
Wow.
I felt what people go through in the field. You can design a lot of pretty things on paper, but in the field, the
Yeah.
struggle is real. And I really liked the whole dynamics of meeting the schedule,
Yeah.
getting the materials, getting the approvals, choosing, the colors, working with the client. So that gave me a glimpse of how it feels to actually build in the field. And
Right.
that part was much more exciting for me than just designing and give it to somebody to build. And, coming from architecture, I understand what people in the field are dealing with.
So now
So,
when an architect gives you plans, you're like, get it out of here. That's not going to work. Now you know
well,
it's like,
architecture helps me because I know what design team are dealing with. And for example, women's clinic, it's a very old building, and there are a lot of existing conditions. Not necessarily you can capture them on paper, right?
right,
So in the field also, I I make the projects environment be all inclusive. So I welcome subcontractors experience,
right,
and they come with phenomenal ideas, even like ideas for the design, but also ideas for the cost savings,
right.
right, for the client. And I think in working in collaboration is the best way, because then you come to the client and you give them options, and it it's fantastic when they can choose something instead of just going for it. If something is very expensive but they have other options with like smaller lead time, less cost, very efficient, something that we can build faster and improve the schedule, there is a lot of appreciation for that.
That's amazing. What's your favorite part about being a project executive? I know that you got passion for it, but what else do you like about the job?
So working on multiple projects, I love that, because I love all aspects of the job and working with different people, different stakeholders, right? You work with the client, you work with the design team, you work with your office, you work with subcontractors, and everyone has its own approach to their job, approach to what side they come from, what experiences. And I love working with people all together,
Yeah,
because, coming into the room and resolving issues or redirecting a conversation to make it most efficient, right? I love coming into the projects. Well, in my career, I was given projects that were having a lot of issues, and you come into the meeting where people are not happy and everyone is tense,
Yeah.
and then you start from there, right? It was the those times were most challenging for me, but turning around and redirecting the conversation, reducing the tension, bringing solutions, it was most challenging but most rewarding experience for
And,
me.
and I'm and I'm sure, right, when the project is done, especially that project you're working on now, when you come back after the
Mhm.
project's done, and you see women's veterans in the building, and how awesome that's going to
You
be,
got
right?
it.
That to me would be like, I'm getting choked up just thinking about it now, just because to know that these women veterans have no place to go, they don't have their own designated kind of place. Now they're going to have their own place. Now they're going to have, a place that'll be theirs and not shared space, which I think is fantastic. Um,
Spot on.
Besides this project, do you have another project
Mhm.
that you really enjoyed working
Currently,
on?
yeah. So right now I have few projects across this campus at Bedford,
Yeah. Okay.
and we uh, we are finalizing replacing exterior doors, many locations across campus, and every situation is different, right? Doesn't seem like a lot on paper, but there are a lot of challenges and coordination with traffic and the conditions what we are replacing with, and so on and so forth. A lot is happening, so that project is very interesting because there are challenges, there are things that we need to keep in mind, um, need to be extremely detailed, coordinated, and just focused. Um, Great project. We are almost completed with that one. Um, there was another project that we also recently finished, and there were a lot of different scopes in one. So also, I think I am excited about the projects that have challenges
Yeah.
because like something in I wouldn't say that in my career I had any projects that were like, laid back, nothing to
Right.
do. Every project,
Yeah.
every project has its challenges, but uh, I, we grow from challenges.
That's
So
right. That's right. And
yeah,
it sounds like they send you in to be the fixer, like the fixer-upper person, right? Oh, we got a tough one. Let's send Irina in. She'll fix this for us. She'll get that job back on track. She'll get that. And then, I'm not sure, but is the Bedford VA is it on Hanscom Air Force Base? Did you have to get past the gate to go there?
no, this one,
Mm.
no, it's a public area.
Okay. All right.
But yes,
I'm
there is police driving everywhere, and they can ask you what you're doing here.
right. And then I mean, I guess if you were on the Air Force Base, there's even more challenges getting people on off the gates, getting okayed, and
Of
security
course,
checks and all that stuff. It's crazy.
of
What is
course.
a piece of advice you would give someone, that was trying to want to do what you do, to be a project executive? What would some advice would be?
I think that this job um, is difficult in the sense that you have to have bravery, you have to have guts,
Oh,
because one thing. Let's not get into the fact that I'm a woman in construction, right? And like all of that,
yeah,
my accent and where I came from, my background. But you have to have guts to uh, bring up issues in a way that you like. My motto is, when you bring issues, you bring solutions.
it's good.
This way it's a full package. You're not throwing issues at the owner to figure out, or like, have anxiety,
Right.
over the problem. You actually come with your knowledge. That's why you're there.
Oh,
So
man.
bravery is one of the best qualities that I think has been helping me. Also, being detail oriented and having a clear communication. without communication, without establishing relationships with all the stakeholders,
Right.
having a successful project, you can't. You
Where
can't.
did
It's extremely important.
where did you learn the bravery piece? Did your dad teach you that?
I was born this way.
Ah,
Don't tell anyone.
I will tell you. I bet you got a little bit from your dad. I bet you a little bit from your dad, just a little bit.
Probably.
Are your sisters in the construction business too?
No, no, my sisters are not, but actually, if you want to hear a funny story, my dad asked my sisters to come and help when we
Yeah,
were kids. He would ask my sister, she would come, and then, like, a few minutes later, she's gone. She's like,
yeah,
get out of here. Another sister, go, because um, he doesn't have patience if like he explains and you don't get it, like,
yeah,
no, you like don't qualify,
yeah.
you didn't make the cut. So I was the only one who made a cut, and I kind of just I was interested to do what he did, and I learned to use tools when I was very young. Like, I did the work myself with him, and that's that was the cool
Do
part.
your sisters ask you to come over and fix stuff?
They live in Kazakhstan.
Oh, okay. So you just can't drive over them and help them fix something or build
No,
something.
that would be a little bit pricey.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
actually, this summer, my sister had to do renovations in her house, and she had subcontractors coming over, and she was dealing with everything that what I'm dealing with, but on a residential level. And she called me one of the days, and she said, "I don't know how you do your job. I hate your job." She said, "I don't know how do you do this," and that uh, kind of made me think for a second, like, is it that bad, like, is it that hard? But I think that to survive construction, you have
yeah,
to be passionate about it,
yeah,
because um, I've seen people um, getting burned out, not
yeah.
liking what they do anymore, not wanting to continue fighting, not wanting to stay the path, because it's a hard field. It's not easy.
Yep. You should have had your sister hire you. She could have hired you as and to be the project executive. Say, like, this is what I make. This is what I do for a living. You're gonna pay me. She could have flew you over
American
there.
rate.
You could have spent the summer with your sister and been the pro and get people working. And that's not how we do things around here. And get back to work.
Yeah,
Love it. All
can
right, that's our
can
friend
support me.
Irina. If somebody want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
I am on LinkedIn, and if you like, if anyone actually would like to get a hold of me, you're more than welcome on my LinkedIn page. It's Irina Makucha, um, and I'm very responsive. Also, to mention, I have been mentoring people for many years, so I I am in contact with UMass Amherst for all the students from building and construction technology, the program that I graduated from. So, I encourage people to reach out, because mentoring is one of the biggest parts of my job that I make sure that I make time for.
Yep.
Surviving in construction for younger people is not easy. I
Nope.
get it. I've seen this happen at the beginning of my career. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've been there, making my path through my career, and I am there for people who would like to enter construction field, who are dealing with the difficulties. I know there is a struggle with the younger generation versus older generation,
Yeah.
the old ways versus new ways. There is nothing wrong with any of that. It's
Mhm.
just generations clash, but there are ways of making it happen. So
Mhm.
it's important.
It's funny we were talking about it today with somebody else. If the older
Hmm.
generation doesn't teach the younger generation, then it's going to end here. This is it. You'll have robots building buildings and have robots building VA hospitals, and you're not going to have any people doing anything. If no one, you have to share your knowledge. You've got to be able to pass on to the next person. You've got to be, acceptable, right? Of younger people asking lots of questions, and the older people forget when they were the younger people, and it may have been 40 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever it is. But you've got to be able to pass the knowledge on, because if you don't, the trades are in
Exactly.
serious danger of, whether it be the building trades or, project executive, doesn't matter. If someone's not there to teach you and show you, then it's gonna be gone, be extinct. All right, that's Irina.
Exactly.
Irina, now we're gonna slide into the call this a lightning round.
Okay.
You did ask for the questions ahead of time, and I told her no, because we don't. But we'll make this nice and easy for you. What is your most used emoji?
Um, I know which one. It's that face with the glasses. The nerd. That's all me.
Goodness.
That's all me. I'm a nerd all over.
If you were famous, what would you be famous for?
Uh, Winning over people's hearts.
Ooh, geez, that's a good one. If you have to
Yeah.
sing karaoke, what song would you pick?
Hmm. That's a hard question.
Hmm.
Probably one of the Christmas songs, because it's my favorite holiday.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's say you were independently wealthy and didn't have to work. What would you do with your time?
What would I do? I would feed homeless.
That's a good
It's
one.
that's my dream from my childhood, to become wealthy, to be able to provide food for people who need it.
That's amazing. If you were going to sail around the world, what's the name of your boat?
Maverick.
Ooh, man, that was tip of your tongue. You already had that one ready. Um,
No, it's my favorite word.
what was the worst job you ever had?
Worst job. When I was a kid, I went to help my mom wash the floors in a construction company.
Yeah.
When USSR collapsed, people lost jobs. My mom, highly educated, very smart, very cool person, had to take a nighttime job to wash floors in a construction company, and I wanted to help her. So, yeah, you know, the map was bigger than me at that time. But that probably was the worst, but it taught me a lot. So,
Mom and Dad taught you a lot, even when you were a little girl. What was your
they
favorite
did.
game to play as a child?
Um, I actually loved sewing clothes for Barbie.
Ah,
Barbie, I design clothes, and I one of the hobbies that I have nowadays is actually I design clothes and I make it. It
wow.
never left me. It's
That's
my one of my favorite things to do.
oh. Favorite meal to cook and why?
Favorite meal to cook. Um, I love making pelmeni.
What's that?
I don't know if you ever had that. Those are actually probably dumplings,
Dumplings.
but you like making dough from scratch and then getting together as a family to make each one of them. They're small, so you have
Ah,
to, make each one of them. It's more like a tradition, and getting together and getting it, doing it together while we watch movies, we play songs. It's a family time.
that sounds great. Are you a good
Yeah,
dancer?
I actually am, because my husband and I, we go for Latin professional, dancing classes, and it's we don't do it regularly because we have, things come up and
Yeah.
too tired, but it's something that we actually do together. And I love dressing up and just going and dancing my heart out. It's fantastic. I absolutely love
I
dancing.
mean, that's a totally random question I asked, and most people say no. But this is like the second or third person said, "Yeah, I'm a great dancer." I have no idea. I'm just grabbing random questions off my this crazy list of questions.
I love your questions. They're spot on.
Yeah, if you could go to Mars, would you, and why or why not?
Mars, uh, I would, because I would take my daughter with me. She
Oh,
actually went last year. She wanted to be an astronaut, and
oh,
I was like, I don't want you to go to live in another country like I did to my parents. But why
right.
would you go to a different planet?
You can't
So for her,
you can't stop her. You came to America. She put us on the moon.
yeah, for her, I would do that only once.
Um, they were talking today on the radio about those astronauts that went to the space station. They only supposed to be there for a couple of weeks and they're stuck there till February of next year. Did you hear that story?
No, no,
Uh,
I should read up on that.
Don't, yeah, don't tell your daughter to be a construction, get into construction, and then she can stay here. And well, she could go,
Okay.
maybe she could build stuff on Mars, I guess. She could build stuff on
Yeah, true.
Mars. Let's see, another good question here. If you could write a book that was guaranteed to be a bestseller, what would you write about?
Well, you give me goosebumps that you ask me about that because I am writing a book, and I'm not like I'm not running after a bestseller, but I'll tell you what the book is going to be about. It's about the hardships that I had to go through, and I want people who think that they are dealing with difficult situations to read. It's going to be a collection of stories, right? So they can relate to those stories, they see the outcome, and they believe that if I got through that, they can definitely do that.
Right.
Definitely. So,
And that sounds inspirational. And then the last question we always ask is, there's a food fight at your house tonight. What are you using as a weapon? What is it? You can't say mashed potatoes. What would you use as a weapon in a food fight?
um, I don't know, a wooden board.
People say food.
Oh, oh,
You
if if food is flying at me, you know,
can throw the
oh,
dumplings. The
oh,
dumplings.
you the dumplings, yes, that would be a dumpling fight, and I would be using the board to protect myself. But actually, yeah, we don't play food fights because, I have a lot of respect for food, so
Yeah,
it's a no-no in my house.
that's you're the first person of all the guests ever said that. Usually someone says spaghetti or says something messy because you're gonna make a big sloppy mess. Mashed potatoes make a big mess, or pies, or like a blueberry pie. But you're the first person that said she respects the food too much to start a food fight.
Yes.
All right, that is our friend Irina from Veterans Development Corp. We appreciate you being on. The project is beautiful. First guest to actually feature a project in the background. This is crazy. What a great, awesome. All right, well, thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.